buckle up, everybody, because today we're taking a deep dive into the world of ethical hacking.
Ethical hacking, yeah.
But not the kind you might be thinking of.
Right.
We're not talking about, breaking into systems or writing code.
Yep.
Today is all about how these cybersecurity pros gather information without even touching a target system.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is. And the secret weapon, OSINT.
OSINT. Yeah, open source intelligence.
Open source intelligence. Now, you might be thinking open source, so that means it's,
Exactly. It's all about publicly available information.
publicly available, yeah. Stuff anyone with an internet connection could find.
Think social media posts,
Yeah.
company websites, even those, those forum discussions.
Yeah. Like those really niche forums.
Exactly. The kind of stuff that most people wouldn't even think twice about.
But to an ethical hacker, this is gold.
It is. It's all about knowing where to look and how to connect the dots.
Right, because it's not just about finding information. It's about analyzing it and understanding what it means.
Mm-hmm. And that's what separates the pros from the amateurs.
Absolutely. And our sources for this deep dive break this whole process down into 3 main steps.
3 steps, yeah. It's like a roadmap for ethical hacking with OSINT.
Okay, so let's start with step 1, information gathering.
Gathering intel. This is where it all begins.
So what kind of data are we talking about here? Are we talking like social media profiles?
Social media for sure, but it goes way beyond that.
Oh, really?
We're talking company websites, public records, even those little details hidden in the metadata of images.
Wait, hold on, metadata?
Metadata.
Yeah.
It's like data about data.
I'm not sure I follow.
Okay, so imagine you take a picture with your phone, right?
Right.
That picture actually contains a ton of hidden information.
Hidden how?
It's embedded in the file itself. Things like the GPS coordinates of where the picture was taken.
And you could figure out where someone lives just from a picture they posted online.
Potentially, yeah. It's all about connecting the dots.
Okay, that's starting to sound a little creepy.
It can be, but remember, ethical hackers use this information for good.
Right. To protect us from the bad guys.
Exactly.
Okay. So step 1, we gather all this information. We're talking social media profiles, company websites, public records, metadata.
The whole 9 yards.
But then what? You've got this mountain of data. How do you even begin to make sense of it all?
That's where the tools come in.
Tools. Yeah. Our sources mentioned a few that sound pretty interesting.
They are. And each tool has its own unique purpose.
Okay, so let's start with one that caught my eye. The harvester.
The harvester. Now, this one's all about finding emails and subdomains associated with a target.
So if I wanted to find all the email addresses associated with a company.
The harvester could help you with that.
And what about subdomains? What are those exactly?
They're like extensions of a main website. So instead of just company.com, you might have mail.company.com or blog.company.com.
Right.
And sometimes these subdomains can contain sensitive information or be vulnerable to attack.
So the harvester helps you find those hidden corners of the internet.
Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty cool. What else is in the ethical hacker's toolbox?
Well, there's Shodan.
Shodan, what's that all about?
Imagine a search engine, but instead of searching for websites, Shodan searches for devices, anything connected to the internet.
So, like my computer.
Your computer, your phone, your smart TV, even things like security cameras and industrial control systems.
Wow, that's a lot of devices.
It is, and Shodan can find them all.
Okay, but why would an ethical hacker want to use Shodan?
Because Shodan can find devices with vulnerabilities.
Vulnerabilities.
Things like a webcam with the default password or a server running outdated software.
Oh.
Exactly. These are the kinds of weaknesses that hackers can exploit.
So ethical hackers use Shodan to find these vulnerabilities before the bad guys do.
Precisely. It's all about proactive security.
Okay, so we've got the harvester for finding emails and subdomains, and we've got Shodan for finding vulnerable devices. Anything else?
One more tool, Maltego.
Maltego.
This one's a little different. Maltego is all about visualization.
Visualization.
Yeah. Imagine you've gathered all this information about a target. Emails, subdomains, IP addresses.
Right.
Maltego takes all that data and creates a visual map.
A map.
A map of the target's digital footprint. You can see how everything is connected, the relationships between different pieces of data.
So it's like a digital detective board with strings connecting all the clues.
Exactly. And that can be incredibly helpful for understanding complex systems and identifying potential attack vectors.
Okay, so we've got our 3 tools, the Harvester, Shodan, and Maltego. And they all help ethical hackers make sense of this mountain of OSINT data.
They do.
But let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
Why should the average person care about all of this?
That's a great question. And the answer is simple. OSINT affects all of us.
Really? How?
Remember those vulnerabilities we talked about? The ones that Shodan can find?
Yeah?
Those vulnerabilities exist in the systems we use every day. Our banks, our hospitals, our governments.
So ethical hackers are using OSINT to protect us from cyber attacks.
Exactly. They're finding and fixing these weaknesses before the bad guys can exploit them.
That's pretty reassuring.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's just one example of how OSINT is being used for good.
What are some other examples?
Oh, there's penetration testing.
Penetration testing. What's that?
It's like a controlled cyber attack.
A controlled
I mean,
attack.
Ethical hackers use OSINT to gather information about a target system, and then they simulate a real-world attack.
So they're basically hacking the system to see how strong its defenses are.
Exactly. It's
Right.
like giving your security system a stress test.
And that helps companies find and fix any weaknesses.
Precisely.
That makes sense. What about outside of cybersecurity? Are there other ways OSINT is being used?
Absolutely. OSINT is a valuable tool for law enforcement.
Law enforcement, really?
Oh, yeah. Think about it. OSINT can be used to track down cyber criminals, uncover hidden connections, even help solve real-world crimes.
Like digital detective work.
It is, and it's becoming increasingly important in the fight against crime.
Wow, this whole deep dive has been really eye-opening.
It's amazing how much information is out there.
And how it can be used for both good and bad.
That's the key takeaway.
The internet never forgets.
Exactly. Every comment leaves a trace.
So we need to be mindful of our digital footprint.
Absolutely. What we do online can have real-world consequences.
This deep dive has definitely made me think twice about my own online activity.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And I encourage everyone listening to do the same.
Think about your digital footprint. What information is out there about you?
What could someone learn about you using OSINT?
It's a thought-provoking exercise.
It is, and it can help us all be more responsible digital citizens.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of OSINT and ethical hacking.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, stay safe out there in the digital world.
Absolutely.